Hey, so today we're going to take a look at the story Little Brother. The title of this piece is actually right here. It's from the Strange Horizons website, which is why you see that part so large. But the piece that we're actually reading is called Little Brother by Bruce Holland Rogers. Of course, get all of your annotating tools out in front of you, any sort of marking devices, etc. And then we're going to go ahead and get started with this read. Okay. Peter had wanted a little brother for 3 Christmases in a row. Now, already as a reader, I'm seeing this TM. This means trademark or trademarked, I don't know. But to be trademarked means that it's like a product. Like products are generally trademarked. So I'm wondering why little brother is not only trademarked, but also is capitalized, which tells me that it is a proper noun. So it's probably the name of something. So he had wanted the little brother for 3 Christmases in a row. His favorite TV commercials were the ones that showed just how much fun he would have teaching little brother to do all the things that he could already do himself. So now we have TV commercials. Okay. But every year, Mommy had said that Peter wasn't ready for a little brother until this year. I love that this is by itself. So my writer brain is kicking in a little bit. I'm like, ooh, look what they did right there. This year, when Peter ran into the living room, there sat little brother among the wrapped presents, babbling baby talk, smiling his happy smile, and patting one of the packages with his fat little hand. Peter was so excited that he ran up and gave little brother a big hug around the neck. So it's strange, instead of just saying big hug, like why are we saying big hug around the neck? I feel like that's something that is an intentional add. I don't know. That was how he found out about the button. Well, there we go. Peter's hand pushed up against something cold on little brother's neck, and suddenly little brother wasn't babbling anymore or even sitting up. Suddenly, little brother was limp on the floor, as lifeless as an ordinary doll. Okay, so on the neck, we have the button, and I'm thinking like it can't be too tough to push this button if he just accidentally pushed it by giving the baby a hug. I don't know. Peter, Mommy said, I didn't mean to. Mommy picked up little brother, sat him in her lap, and pressed the black button at the back of his neck. Little brother's face came alive, and it wrinkled up as if he were about to cry. But Mommy bounced him on her knee and told him what a good boy he was, and he didn't cry at all. I'm kind of having this contrast and contradiction moment because I think it's, I don't know, like strange that like the adult is like not just playing with this little brother toy, but like taking care of it and making sure it's not crying and bouncing it on her knee, and like it seems very involved for an adult to play with a doll like that. So I'm wondering like if we're in the future or something, and like this is, there are dolls that I can't figure that part out, but what I do know is it seems strange that the adult is playing so much with the baby that she's bouncing him, and he was going to cry, but Mommy bounced him, and I don't know. Just the whole thing right here is a contrast to me. So I'm going to put contrast too, just so I can use that language as well. I'm going to switch colors because they're like pretty. Little brother isn't like your other toys, Peter, Mommy said. You have to be extra careful with him, as if he were a real baby. As if he were a real baby. See, these things keep standing out to me. She put little brother down on the floor, and he took tottering baby steps toward Peter. Why don't you let him help you open your other presents? So that's what Peter did. He showed little brother how to tear the paper and open the boxes. The other toys were a fire engine, some talking books, a wagon, and lots of wooden blocks. So this is telling me that Peter's probably not too old. He started asking for it, 3 Christmases ago, so he's at least 3. He's still getting some talking books and fire engines and wooden blocks. So I'm guessing he's only, 5-ish? I'm guessing he's not super old if these are the types of things, unless these are for little brother. Do you buy toys for little brother? I don't know. The fire engine was the second best present. It had lights, a siren, second best. I wonder if the brother is the first. It had lights, a siren, and hoses that blew green gas just like the real thing. Green gas. Again, contrast. I'm like, what fire hose blows green gas? There weren't as many presents as last year, Mommy explained, because little brother was expensive. That was okay. Little brother was the best present ever. Well, that's what Peter thought at first. At first, everything that little brother did was funny and wonderful. Peter put all the torn wrapping paper in the wagon, and little brother took it out again and threw it on the floor. And Peter started to read a talking book, and little brother came and turned the pages too fast for the book to keep up. So this is books read themselves to kids now. There we go. But then while Mommy went to the kitchen to cook breakfast, Peter tried to show little brother how to build a very tall tower out of blocks. Little brother wasn't interested in seeing a really tall tower. Every time Peter had a few blocks stacked up, little brother swatted the tower with his hand and laughed. Peter laughed too for the first time and the second, but then he said, "Now watch this time. I'm going to make it really big." So it's like a real sibling, like you're super frustrated. Okay. But little brother didn't watch. The tower was only a few blocks tall when he knocked it down. "No," Peter said, and he grabbed hold of little brother's arm. "Don't." Look at the apostrophe S is outside of the trademark. Little brother's face wrinkled. He was getting ready to cry. Peter looked toward the kitchen and let go. "Don't cry," he said. "Look, I'm building another one. Help me build it." Little brother watched and then knocked the tower down. Peter had an idea. I also think it's interesting that I don't know whose perspective it's from. I don't know really the narrator. It's a third person, but they keep referring to Peter has a name and little brother is just little brother. So is that what he's going to be called forever, or do they end up choosing a name for him later, or I don't know. When Mommy came into the living room again, Peter had built a tower that was taller than he was, the best tower he had ever made. So if it's the best he's ever made, that's some absolute strong language there, which means little brother is going to do something naughty because it's the best one he's ever made. So of course he's going to do something naughty. But Mommy didn't even look at the tower. Peter! She picked up little brother, put him on her lap, and pressed the button to turn him back on. As soon as he was on, little brother started to scream. His face was red. So Peter's idea was to turn him off again. Look, Mom turned him off. I was like, what do you mean she turned him back on? I didn't even know he turned him off. Well, Peter's idea was to turn him off. I didn't mean to. "Peter, I told you he's not like your other toys. When you turn him off, he can't move, but he can still see and hear." That's kind of creepy. I don't know. "He can still feel, and it scares him. He was knocking down my blocks." "Babies do things like that," Mommy said. "That's what it's like to have a baby brother." And now we have baby brother not capitalized. So it's like she's referring just to a baby brother. I don't know. Little brother howled. "He's mine," Peter said too quietly for Mommy to hear. He's mine. Seems like he's Mommy's, doesn't it? But when little brother had calmed down, Mommy put him back on the floor and Peter let him toddle over and knock down the tower. Mommy told Peter to clean up the wrapping paper and she went back into the kitchen. Peter had already picked up the wrapping paper once and she hadn't said thank you. She hadn't even noticed. Peter wadded the paper into angry balls and threw them one at a time into the wagon until it was almost full. That's when little brother broke the fire engine. Oh, and remember the fire engine was the second best toy. Peter turned just in time to see him lift the engine up over his head and let it drop. "No!" Peter shouted. The windshield cracked and popped out as the fire engine hit the floor. Broken. That all by itself. Peter hadn't even played with it once, and his best Christmas present was broken. Later, when Mommy came into the living room, she didn't thank Peter for picking up all the wrapping paper. Instead, she scooped up little brother and turned him on again. He trembled and screeched louder than ever. "My goodness, how long has he been off?" Mommy demanded. "I don't like him." "Peter, it scares him. Listen to him." "I hate him. You can take him back." "You are not to turn him off again, ever." Look what the writer does here. Like we kind of go from all these paragraphs to like all dialogue. "He's mine," Peter shouted. "He's mine and I can do whatever I want with him. He broke my fire engine." "He is a baby." "He's stupid. I hate him. Take him back." "You are going to learn to be nice with him." "I'll turn him off if you don't take him back. I'll turn him off and hide him someplace where you can't find him." "Peter," Mommy said, and she was angry. She was angrier. Oh, we got angry repeating. She was angrier than he had ever seen her before. He put little brother down and took a step toward Peter. She would punish him. Peter didn't care. He was angry too. I'll do it, he yelled. I'll turn him off and hide him someplace dark. You'll do no such thing, Mommy said. She grabbed his arm and spun him around. The spanking would come next. But it didn't. Instead, he felt her fingers searching for something of his neck. So what's Peter? Peter is also a little brother. Or maybe he's big brother. Maybe they bought him big and he's like at the beginning when I was like, well, I wonder how old he was that he's been asking for at least 3 Christmases or he's wanting. Maybe he was, I don't know, born as big as he is, or maybe he's a big brother and this is the little brother, and maybe you could buy a big sister or a little sister, or kind of makes me wonder, like, is this the only toy that they have, or is he, I don't know, like, is this little brother going to be a baby forever? Does it grow? I'm left with a lot of questions, actually, probably more questions that I really want to be asking myself. So as I take a look at this text, I love that they had the twist at the very end. Like, you don't really know what's happening. And, I kind of said it earlier. I was wondering about, they call him little brother. And I'm wondering, like, how did they pick Peter? And at what point did they pick a name for little brother? And again, like, is Peter big brother? And then there's little brother and then little sister. And then there's, I don't really know, because there's lots of commercials already. And where's Daddy? This kind of also makes me wonder, because the only person I see in here is the mom, and I'm wondering if maybe this is, so the mom can have a kid. I don't really know. I'm not really sure what's going on here, but I do like where this is going. I love the twist at the end. I love how we had these bigger paragraphs and then the dialogue were kind of those bigger parts. I also like that there was some spacing here, and you can tell, like, Peter had an idea. The writer doesn't tell us that he turned little brother off, but you can see that he's, we can tell what he did right here because the mom came in and turned him back on again. Or down here, he's really mad because his best Christmas present was broken. It used to be the second best, remember? And now it's the best. Ha, I just got that. But now when mom comes in, she's mad because the brother has been turned off. So we never said he reached around and turned off the brother. He only did that by accident at the beginning so the reader knew how it happened. And then throughout, his idea was simply to make him stop and make him go away by getting, turning off the toy. So interesting concept. I'm interested to see on your reflection as well. Notice things that the writer did, as well as things that you can notice, like this contrasting here. We have the again and again here. A lot of internal dialogue happening with the brother. Yeah, and lots of questions. There you go.